So this right here, ladies and gentlemen, is a very old Intel system crammed inside of a pretty cool retro Ep2 case, and I think it is a fantastic candidate for our second episode of the PC Build-Up Challenge. Now, in case you missed our last episode and don't know what the Build It Up Challenge is, this is where we flip older computers for a profit, and we will repeat this process over and over and over again until we have enough funds saved up to build the epic gaming system of our dreams, all so that I can give it away to one of you. Now, this computer right here is rocking an older Intel i5 2500 CPU. It also has a GTX 560 Ti, so they are pretty old, but what really caught my eye is the motherboard that is inside this case. This computer is rocking a Sabertooth Z77 motherboard that is 100% top to bottom covered in shrouding, and it even has this super adorable little fan attached to it. Now, the case that it does come in is actually pretty cool. It does have LED lights in it, but not LED like you usually see in modern day cases. It does have blue LEDs that light up on all four corners here in the front. There is this nifty little door that is hiding both DVD ROMs, because you definitely need two. And on the side panel here, there is this nifty little funnel that I assume is to help draw in fresh air to your CPU so that your CPU runs a little bit colder. But something that I am having a hard time figuring out is, what does this little knob in the front here do? Because I can't figure out what this does. There is even a little screen next to it, so at some point it had to do something, but I'm sure as we disassemble this case, I will figure out what that was designed to do. Now, in just a second, I am going to disassemble this case right here so that we can get a better look at the hardware. But before I do that, I did want to talk about the computer that we built in our first episode and discuss where we stand with funds. Now, as of the recording of this video, our first computer is still listed on Facebook Marketplace, but has gotten a ton of attention, and I'm pretty confident that it's going to sell in the next week or so. But we did have a remainder of $254, which will be our budget for upgrading this system right here. Now, since I only paid $80 for this system right here, I do have quite a bit of money left over that I can use for upgrades for this system, and I do have quite a few things in mind that will not only boost the performance of the computer, but also give us a much better look so that we can make more money once this computer sells. But before I go ahead and show you what upgrades we are going to be putting inside of this system, we do need to take this thing apart so that we can see what kind of work we're in for. Now, you can think I'm crazy, but this motherboard right here looks super fantastic. I love the top to bottom shrouded look. I think it looks pretty sick. They call it thermal armor. I don't know if it is thermal armor, but it definitely does look really, really cool. Now, as far as this tiny little fan is concerned, I'm not 100% sure what the point of this fan is, because it doesn't appear to be hovering over anything of importance. Maybe it's just there to look cool, but regardless, it's there and I definitely think it looks cool. Now, for the graphics card that came with this system, a 560 Ti, while yes, in its day it was a good card, it is no longer a very strong card. We are going to have to upgrade this. I thought maybe a 1660 Super, maybe a 1660 Ti to pair with the 2500 CPU, but I couldn't pass up the deal that I found on this graphics card right here. I had to take advantage of it, so for $30, we are going to be upgrading to a 970. Now the GTX 970, it's not a powerhouse graphics card, but it is a strong upgrade from a 560 Ti, and it will do a much better job of getting us a quality picture in the games that we are going to test at the end of this episode. Now, this is generally where I will disassemble, break everything apart, and deep clean it, but all I am seeing on this system is just a little bit of surface dust. So what I'll do is off camera, I'm just gonna go ahead and give it a wipe down real fast, and I'll see you back here in just a second.
2 seconds later.
Now, to clean all the parts that I have in front of me, it only really took a cloth and a little bit of rubbing alcohol because all there really was surface dust, and I didn't really need to do any deep cleaning. And the same thing goes for the 970. It appears to have already been cleaned, so it feels kind of like a piece of me is missing, because right now is when I'd be disassembling and deep cleaning and scrubbing down all the parts, and I just don't need to do that for this one. So I feel a little out of place. Now, I did say that we were going to be putting some upgrades into this system, and there was one thing missing from the disassembly of this computer, and that was a hard drive. A lot of times people who sell you their computers, they'll take their hard drives with them because they just don't want to run the risk of you being able to access their personal data, which is understandable. So we had to go out and buy a 1 terabyte SSD for this system. It will help make sure that the system operates quickly, and it gives you enough storage to make sure that you can put a ton of games on here. Now, another thing that we are going to upgrade on this system is the CPU cooler, because nobody wants the stock CPU cooler on their gaming rig. It's not going to do a very good job of keeping your CPU cold, and you run the risk of thermal throttling your system. So what we're going to do is we are going to put this Assassin X CPU tower by Thermalright. We have used this CPU cooler in the past, and can you guess why I picked a white one? If you said because it's going into a white PC case, then you would be correct. We are going to be putting it inside this brand new Zellman i3 Neo. This is the white version. Now, if you are a fan of the channel, then you probably recognize this case. We used this case 2 times, and one of those times was for our first giveaway computer. So I'm pretty excited to work in this one because it is white, and I've never used the white version of this case, but it does come with 4 RGB fans inside of it, and with these items, the black items inside, plus the white CPU cooler and the white case, I think that it's gonna look pretty cool. So now what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to throw this system inside of here so we can turn it on to see if it even works. right, so I absolutely agree with you. 100%, I agree with you that the yellow on that power supply is just killing the vibe of this PC. The black white is beautiful, but then you see that yellow and it just clashes so hard. But the rest of the build actually looks pretty good. It's not the most glorious computer that we've ever made, but it definitely looks like something that somebody would purchase. Now, one thing I didn't like is how badly this GPU sags, but what are you gonna do about that? I tried to put the power cable on top and tighten it to pull it up a little bit, but it looked terrible. So we're just gonna deal with it. It's not terribly noticeable, I just see it because I'm a little OCD. But we are going to try and power the system on. If the system does display an image, we will put Windows on here and we're gonna test some games. So let's go ahead and push this button. All my fans are spinning, CPU spinning, GPU spinning. What about an image? Looking in the front, looking at you, baby. Whoa. Why is it flickering? Okay, well, we had some flickering and then it's on. So, hey, it works, but let's go ahead. I'm gonna put some games on here and we're gonna test that. And then after the games, we're gonna come back right here and figure out how much we're gonna try and sell this thing for.
That's my boy right there. He can frag anyone. Double the kills, double the bills. Your middle tower. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think anyone's surprised. Don't worry, champ. I'm sure you helped.
She's already dead now.
That Cabal had a keycard. It should get us through that door.
Now, I did have a lot of fun playing games on this computer. Now, I did put Call of Duty on here and it really was not an enjoyable experience. This system right here is not going to be able to play a lot of those AAA games, but a game does not need to be AAA in order for you to have a blast playing on your computer. Now, we were getting pretty fantastic frame rates in games like Smite and Destiny 2, so this computer right here is going to be a good system for somebody who's just getting started and maybe buying their first gaming PC. Now, what are we going to try and sell this thing for? So let's tally it up, shall we? For the system itself, before we gave it this fresh new look, we did pay $80. For the SSD that we put inside of this system, that ran me $41. Now the CPU cooler that we added in here was $22, and the all-white case that we put all this stuff into was $68. And that last piece, that graphics card, the GTX 970, I picked up for $30, giving us a grand total of $241. Now that is a pretty cheap computer, but I think that we could sell this computer right here for $360. So what I will do is I will list this on Facebook Marketplace for $380, so I do have a little bit of room for negotiations. Now, as far as the old case that this system was in and the graphics card that was inside that system, I will put them both back on Facebook Marketplace for a small price to see if somebody will come take them off our hands. It's better to try and get a little bit of extra money so that we can continuously be adding to our bank. But that is going to do it for this episode of the Build Up Challenge. I'm so happy that you are here. If you are not a part of the PC Rehab Discord, the link will be in the description down below. And just like always, I hope that no matter where you are in the world, you are having a fantastic day. And I will see you in the next video.